This is the new Audi RS7 Performance, and behind me is San Francisco. You can probably see the Golden Gate Bridge. Now I'm out here because Audi says that California is this car's biggest market. So I want to test it out at various locations throughout San Francisco to see if it's any good. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Car Wow. Buy, sell, Car Wow. Let's start this video by driving over the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, this is absolutely epic. Incredible views. Wow. Also, this is a really good location to test out the car's comfort levels and the suspension in particular, because as you can see, the road surface isn't great and there's those expansion joints which are very, very large and intrusive. Now this particular car is fitted with the optional sport suspension with coil springs rather than the air suspension. Gotta say, I think the air suspension would deal with the bumps a little bit better. However, this is not terrible, it's livable. And the benefit of the sport suspension is that it gives you slightly better handling. And I'm going to head to a location now to test that out in the city. A very famous twisty tight road. This is Lombard Street. It's steep, it's tight and it's twisty. Let's drive it. I'm just going to pause at the top so that I don't knock these people over. And I'm going to put the car into RS1 mode. That has stiffened up the suspension. It has added weight to the steering. It's sharpened the throttle response. It's made the rear differential more aggressive. Am I feeling those benefits now as I hurtle like a crazy thing down this road? Oh yes, I can. It's staying completely flat through the bends. I'm getting a decent amount of feedback of what amount of grip the front wheels have got through the steering wheel. I can feel that rear differential just providing excellent traction as I power out these bends. Well, those flowers are nice, aren't they? Look at them. I like them. It's pretty. Anyway, another benefit, the rear axle steering, which is standard. It just helps the car turn into these corners as I go absolutely ballistic down here, and it makes it more maneuverable so I can make these turns without curbing the alloy wheels. This is insane, intense car testing. My God, it's like driving the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. In fact, I'm going faster than most racing car drivers. Look at this, I'm catching up with that Ford thingy in front of me. Look at that, I'm all over him. In fact, I make him look so slow that he's stationary. Okay. Maybe this is not the ideal location to test this car's handling. Good for sightseeing, not for car testing. I'm going to need to go somewhere else to really see what this car handles like. But I'll do that later. This is Bradford Street. It's the steepest street in all of San Francisco. In fact, it's so steep, I can balance a bottle of Mountain Dew on the windscreen. In fact, it's got a gradient of 41%. It is so steep, and I'm going to use this location to test this car's performance. So, what we have is a door that won't stay open. Underneath the bonnet is a 4-litre twin turbo V8. Same engine as in the normal RS7. However, they've increased the boost pressure, so power goes up by 30 horsepower from 600 to 630 horsepower. Torque is also up by 50 Newton meters from 800 to now 850. Now the engine drives all four wheels via quattro all-wheel drive and an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox with launch control. And now I'm going to launch this car on the steepest street in all of San Francisco. What could go wrong? Audi says the RS7 Performance can do 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3.4 seconds, which is 0.2 of a second quicker than the normal RS7. However, Bradford Street has a limit of 25 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do is see how quick it can go from 0 to 25 miles an hour, only rolling in neutral. Let's go. Come on. This is weird. There we go. Whoa! 0 to 25 miles an hour in neutral in 2.81 seconds. That's just 0.1 of a second quicker than a Porsche Panamera Turbo S does 0 to 60 miles an hour. That takes 2.9 seconds. When you're driving a high performance car such as this, on such steep streets, you're going to need some big brakes, and the RS7 Performance has them. So as standard, you get 420mm iron disc gripped by 10 piston calipers at the front and 370mm discs at the rear gripped by a single piston caliper. This car though has the upgraded carbon ceramics, and the discs at the front are actually 440mm in diameter. Now let's test them out with a very different kind of brake test. Right, I'm going to do a brake test from 25 miles an hour while going down the hill. Here we go. It took 22 feet, which is 6.7 meters. Now let's just try something else. What I'm going to do now is drive the car up the hill at 25 miles an hour and then put it into neutral and see how long it takes to coast to a stop. Let's do it. Get to 25, there we go, and into neutral. That's it. How far was that? 85 feet, which is about 25 meters. Pretty pointless, but good fun. This is San Francisco City Hall. It's a beautiful piece of design, and that brings you on to the design of the Audi RS7 Performance. So it looks pretty much identical to the normal RS7, only the bits of trim were silver and now matte grey. Unless you go for a carbon version or a Vorsprung, then this bit is carbon fibre. Moving down the side, you get 22-inch alloy wheels as standard, and there's a couple of different designs. Once again, more matte grey here and here, and on the door mirrors, which will be carbon with those other two models. Here you can have different coloured brake calipers, and this one has the blue calipers. Really looks nice, especially with my favourite thing about the RS7 Performance, which is the new blue matte paint. It looks awesome. I had to suddenly jump in the car and make a quick getaway because we weren't supposed to be parked outside City Hall. As a result, being British, I jumped into the right-hand side, which is the wrong-hand side over here in America. However, this does give me the opportunity to show you the changes to the inside of this performance version of the Audi RS7. And I'm going to use this little camera here to help you see what I can see. So one of the big changes is that as well as the colour red and grey for the stitching inside, you can now get blue. So there's like blue stitching here and blue stitching on the seats. Really like that. Plus, look, blue seat belts. Lovely. There's even blue stitching on the dash here. It's a little bit odd, this weave. Reminds me of rattan on garden furniture. Oddness. Other things you get on this car now are Alcantara here on the centre console, the armrest, on the door inserts, and on the steering wheel, as modelled by cameraman Jack. Oh yeah. You also get RS dials like you did on the old RS7. RS mats. Oh, love RS mats. Ignore the bottle. Oh no, look. Door bin test. And, oh, RS on the kick plates. We are actually moving. Shouldn't do that. Right. And let's just check out the back seats. This is not good enough. I'm going to jump into the back. I'm going to do it now. Ah, as if by magic. There we go. Look, you've got all the arsiness here as well. Look, blue stitching and seatbelts extend all the way back here. In terms of practicality, knee room is fine. Headroom's a little bit tight because of the sloping roof line, but I'm loving this Alcantara lining. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we've got climate control back here, dual zone back here. Ooh, yes, and heated seats. The rattan reappears here in the rear. Why have they fitted garden furniture material in their new car? What are Audi thinking about? Yeah, it's comfy. I don't think it feels quite as special in the back here though as a BMW M5 CS. And to see why, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. As well as increasing the power for this new RS7 Performance, Audi has obviously made the boot even bigger. It's a complete and utter lie. Of course they haven't. Why would they? It's the same 523 litres capacity, which is slightly bigger than the boot of Porsche Panamera Turbo S and Mercedes-AMG GT63 four-door. Yay, Audi, well done. Thing is, this hatchback tailgate may be practical, but it's not quite as practical as the estate tailgate you get on the Audi RS6 Performance. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about that car. This car, that one, this one here. The RS7 Performance electronic parking brake can't cope with really steep inclines, such as Bradford Street in San Francisco. Look, I'm going to put it into park, and the parking brake, and I get that warning. Vehicle parked too steep. Not great if you live here. While the RS7 Performance gets the sports exhaust as standard, which sounds even better out here in the United States because there's no rules about petrol particulate filters, you can't really enjoy the full sound of it when you're stationary because, oh yeah, the classic Audi soft limiter. This lovely matte paint seems to show scratch marks really badly. These are obviously from cleaning, and I'm not sure it's that easy to buff them out with this particular paint. In the USA, you don't get air suspension as standard like you do in the United Kingdom. It was annoying though, isn't it, right, if you're American, which is supposed to be this car's largest market. That makes sense. The RS7 Performance costs from £116,000, which is around £20,000 more than the normal old RS7. That's a big increase. And that brings you on to 5 good things about this car. You see, as part of the price increase, you get more kit. As standard, the RS7 Performance gets a heads-up display. You also get a Bang & Olufsen stereo, plus a 360-degree surround view camera. Look, with 3D effect. Ooh, that colour doesn't quite match. Move on. Despite being fitted with extra equipment, the RS7 Performance is actually 10 kilograms lighter than the old RS7 when compared like for like. Reason being that Audi has removed some soundproofing, 8 kilograms of the stuff to make the car seem a little bit more raw. Also, the alloy wheels are 20 kilograms lighter than before. You can save even more weight if you go for the optional carbon ceramic disc. Then you save a further 34 kilograms. Despite all this, the car still weighs over 2 tons. The old RS7's top speed was electronically limited to 155 miles an hour. Here with the RS7 Performance, that limit has been raised to 174 miles an hour. And if you want to, you can pay a bit more to release the full top speed of 189 miles an hour. When you put the car into one of the RS modes, you get a special Rev Counter, which looks a bit weird, but it does have some shift up lights which tell you when you need to change. Unlike the old RS7, this new Performance version has special Continental Sport Contact 7 tyres, which were specifically developed for it. Right, I promised you that I would test this car on some proper twisty roads, and I've found one. The only problem is, the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. You get to 45 miles an hour this quick if you're driving the RS7. Here's a corner. I'm going around the corner quite sedately at the recommended 25 miles an hour, and then I'm going to accelerate out of the bend from 25 miles an hour. And that's the speed limit. So let's go back down. No point changing up actually, just stay in second. 25, 45, just like that. Do you know what? This engine does seem pretty angry, and the reduction of the soundproofing means you hear it even more. Just seems a little bit more on it, a bit more aggressive and a bit more intense than the normal RS7 did. It's just a shame that in this car's biggest market, the speed limits are just ridiculously low. Oh, finally, I found a faster road, but it's not particularly twisty, so I can't explore the car's handling. Now, I would like to launch the car to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour, but even here, the limit is 55 miles an hour, so I can't do that legally. Do you know what? To test this car properly, I'm going to have to do it in the UK. I'm going to have to test it out on some twisty roads, on a track, and over the quarter mile. And I'm going to do just that. And to make sure you don't miss out on that video, ensure you're subscribed to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so that you're alerted when I make that upload. Though, do you know what? Rather than use the RS7, I think for a bit of variety, I'll use the RS6, because dynamically, they're exactly the same. So make sure you're subscribed. So then, what's my final verdict on the Audi RS7 Performance? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the RS7 Performance. It's a stunning looking car, it's got loads of power, and I think it's probably good fun to drive if you can find the right roads for it. However, I'd always go for the estate, the RS6 Performance, because I'm European, where the roads are just more fun.